Well, good morning. I'm Brent Adams here with your Rural Strong Morning Ag Report for this Friday, February 16th. Leading off the headlines this morning, an Arizona District Court vacated the 2020 registration of over-the-top dicamba products, so the Environmental Protection Agency issued an existing stocks order. The order allows limited sale and distribution of dicamba products that were already in possession of growers or in trade channels outside of the control of pesticide companies by February 6th. The order also prohibits the use of these dicamba products except where the use is consistent with the previously approved labeling, which included measures intended to reduce environmental damage caused by off-site movement of the pesticide. The EPA issued the order after receiving enough evidence that millions of gallons of OTT dicamba had already entered the trade channels before February 6th. Plus, growers aren't able to switch to other options due to the timing of the Arizona court decisions. The order applies only to dicamba formulations designed to use over the top of dicamba-tolerant soybeans and cotton. Well, U.S. agriculture groups expressed appreciation for the EPA's decision. American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall said, "We're grateful to the EPA for hearing farmers and ranchers' concerns and addressing them quickly to make sure they have crop protection tools they need." Without EPA stepping in, farmers and ranchers were facing significant uncertainty and financial risk. American Soybean Association President Josh Grackel says tens of millions of farmland acres were in limbo. He added that the ruling potentially affects more than 50 million acres of dicamba-tolerant soybeans and cotton, an area larger than the state of Nebraska. Also, Ted McKinney, CEO of the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture, said he was pleased with the ruling. As co-regulatory partners with EPA, we commend the agency for issuing the existing stocks order on dicamba. The stocks order will prevent severe detrimental impacts to our food, fuel, and fiber availability. Well, unit sales of four-wheel drive tractors grew slightly in the U.S. during January. The latest data from the Association of Equipment Manufacturers shows four-wheel drive tractor sales increased 1.4% year over year and was the only segment to show growth in January. In Canada, four-wheel drive tractor sales were unchanged at 409 units. Overall unit sales of U.S. tractors dropped 21.2% compared to January 2023 sales, while combine sales finished 4.9% below last January. Under 40 horsepower tractors were down 26% from last year. Canadian tractor sales ended January 30% below the 2023 data. Combines were also down 9.5% in January compared to last year. Well, there's been quite a bit of news coming out of the 100th USDA Agricultural Outlook Forum. Speaking there on Thursday, U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack said current ag economic forecasts demonstrate the need to create more diverse market opportunities for producers. Here with more is USDA Radio's Rod Bain.
With tightening margins for ag producers expected in 2024, the Agriculture Secretary says this is the reason behind USDA efforts to diversify market opportunities.
Producers can participate in this climate smart commodity initiative, so essentially their bottom line can be improved by getting paid for things that they're already doing that are sustainable, and then maybe get a higher market opportunity. It's why we're creating more opportunities for those farmers to sell directly to consumers, and more producers are thinking about direct marketing, and why we're creating farm to market, farm to school, local and regional food purchasing cooperatives,
The secretary speaking to reporters at the 100th annual USDA Agricultural Outlook Forum adds that additional USDA efforts in areas such as an improved safety net through farm loans and crop insurance is important to assist producers facing shrinking margins. From the Ag Outlook Forum in Arlington, Virginia, I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Also at the forum, Vilsack told reporters that the primary issue of an ongoing dispute over corn exports to Mexico involves science. Here again is Rod Bain.
The current dispute between the U.S. and Mexico over U.S. corn exports and genetically modified corn. What is the latest in this matter, including a current USMCA dispute settlement panel? Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack, speaking with reporters at the annual USDA Ag Outlook Forum, says large purchase volumes of yellow corn by Mexico for livestock feed
60 to 70% of what they need to feed their livestock comes from the U.S.
does not constitute that the continued decreed ban of U.S. white corn exports should be ignored, as the issue, according to the Secretary, is not the corn variety, but following science.
That the science indicates that there's no safety concern, and that we had an agreement under USMCA to recognize science. And to the extent that that agreement's not being followed, the reason why the USMCA was passed was because it had a mechanism for dealing with disputes and disagreements, and we're utilizing that system.
Also, forum attendees heard the USDA's first take on major crop commodities for the coming year.
The outlook for major crop agriculture for 2024? USDA Chief Economist Seth Meyer with the view at the centennial edition of the department's Agricultural Outlook Forum, starting with how prices support what commodities growers should plant this year.
Maybe that prices support soybeans a little bit more than corn, so maybe we move a little bit of area back into soybeans. Corn prices moving a little bit lower as well. Sorghum area is largely unchanged. Wheat, after responding to the global demand for wheat because of action in the Black Sea, farmers saying, okay, we'll move out of wheat, we responded. Cotton being perhaps one of the areas where we see a little bit of area growth, and certainly if weather is normal, some big rebounds in production. And rice, pretty steady overall in area.
Meyer adds, in terms of supplies, corn and bean stocks should continue to build in 2024, while wheat and rice supplies are forecasted to tighten this year.
And finally, this morning, USDA Chief Economist Seth Meyer provided a look at crop prices, input costs, and how that translates into producer margins for this year. Here one final time is Rod Bain.
The outlook for major crop agriculture for 2024? USDA Chief Economist Seth Meyer with the view at the centennial edition of the department's Agricultural Outlook Forum, starting with how prices support what commodities growers should plant this year.
Maybe that prices support soybeans a little bit more than corn, so maybe we move a little bit of area back into soybeans. Corn prices moving a little bit lower as well. Sorghum area is largely unchanged. Wheat, after responding to the global demand for wheat because of action in the Black Sea, farmers saying, okay, we'll move out of wheat, we responded. Cotton being perhaps one of the areas where we see a little bit of area growth, and certainly if weather is normal, some big rebounds in production. And rice, pretty steady overall in area.
Meyer adds, in terms of supplies, corn and bean stocks should continue to build in 2024, while wheat and rice supplies are forecasted to tighten this year. From the Ag Outlook Forum in Arlington, Virginia, I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Well, you can keep up with the latest from the world of agriculture by subscribing to the Tractors and Troubadours podcast from Rural Strong Media. Each week, I bring you agriculture industry newsmakers, hot button industry issues, educational features, and the best in traditional country music. The Tractors and Troubadours podcast can be found at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Episode 119 is out now, and we encourage you to go check it out. We talk with Mahindra USA CEO Viren Popley and Ag Revolution President and CEO Stacy Anthony during the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. We also have music from singer-songwriter Lonnie Bartmus. Again, that can be found on episode 119 of the Tractors and Troubadours podcast, available now at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We also invite you to join us daily on Rural Strong Radio, our 24/7 streaming radio station, found at ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app for your mobile device. Each day we bring you our award-winning agriculture programming, as well as the best in traditional country music, mixed in with a little bluegrass, western swing, southern rock, and inspirational music. Again, the place to find Rural Strong Radio is ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app. We're portable, so take us with you everywhere you go while you're working on the farm or ranch. Well, I'll be back again on Monday with another Rural Strong Morning Ag Report here on Steve Shetler Media. Be safe out there and make it a great weekend, everybody.